Viewers, the latest news about Ethiopia, Amhara, and Tigray region is that, according to the latest reports, Eritrean forces prevented a UN-led humanitarian mission from entering a village in the northern Ethiopian region of Tigray on Thursday, in what would mark violation of a peace deal ending fighting in the area. Aid workers on the ground told CNN. After 2 years of fighting, the Ethiopian government and the Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF) signed a deal to end hostilities in November last year. That included withdrawing all foreign forces from the north of the country. Eritrean soldiers had joined in one of the conflict of the side of Ethiopia. But aid workers said officials from the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs (UNOCHA) as well as those from other NGOs were stopped from reaching the village of Gemhalo by Eritrean forces. On 25 May 2023, a mission led by UNOCHA deputy head of Ethiopia comprised from UNOSCHA, UNDSS, WHO, and other NGOs were prohibited from entering Gemhalo village in Tate Adiabo Woreda by Eritrean forces, they said. The mission was stopped after traveling 16 kilometers from Shiraro around Waile Nihbe. Eritrean forces are in Tigray in close distance from Shiraro, occupying 5 kbs neighborhoods of Tate Adiabo Woreda district, they added. Looting, destructing infrastructures, raping are continued. Eritrean forces are committing all forms of violation in the villages, including denying humanitarian access to those areas, they said. In January, the United States ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas Greenfield, said at a press conference at Nairobi that Eritrean troops were still in Ethiopia, contracting authorities in Addis Ababa. We understand that they had moved back to the border and they have been asked to leave Ethiopia, she told reporters. Eritrean forces also recently prevented a African Union peace monitoring and verification team from carrying out their activities, said Getachew Reda, the head of Tigray's interim government. Tigrayan authorities continue to discuss the issue with the Ethiopian government, he added, saying it must be resolved. CNN has reached out to the Eritrean and Ethiopian governments for the Tigray conflict has its roots in tensions that go back generations in Ethiopia. The country is made up of 10 regions and 2 cities. They have a substantial amount of autonomy, including regional police and military. Regional governments are largely divided along entrenched ethnic lines. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed came to power in 2018 after decades of iron-fisted rule by a TPLF-dominated coalition and coalition and began a drive for a new pan-Ethiopian political party, sparking fears in some regions that the country's federal system was under threat. Tensions with the TPLF boiled over and in November 2020, Abe ordered a military assault against the group, sending in national troops and fighters from the neighboring region of Amara, along with soldiers from Eritrea. Thousands of people died in the fighting while many more fled and decreased. Thousands of people died in the fighting while many more fled, and Tigray was plugged into severe food insecurity. All actors have been accused of carrying out atrocity in the conflict, but Eritrean forces have been linked to some of the most gruesome. In addition to perpetrating mass killing and rape, Eritrean soldiers have also been found blocking and looting food relief in multiple parts of Tigray. Eritrea government has denied any involvement in atrocities. Ethiopia's government has flagged investigations into any wrongdoing. Furthermore, the news about Fano fighters. Fano fighters at the monastery, and we have seen attacks by security forces on monasteries. More than one this year. Trinity Monastery, tackle him not monastery in Gajam, were also attacked by security forces. Why? Because monasteries were being used by Fano fighters, their supporters, as shelter. And around 2 or 3 weeks ago, King Dabelas United Ministry was surrounded by security forces. There was exchange of gunfire, and some worshippers, some Fano sport of the reportedly were killed around 1010 were killed back. Then once again we are seeing the same. The Fano fighters are using monasteries as their hiding places. Security forces are trying to enter the monasteries, and now we are seeing a propaganda as well against security force. They are discrediting religious sanctity of these places. These places are being used by a Fano fighter. That is why security are surrounding the religious places, and they want to search, so they have right to conduct searches. If they are suspicious that the places are being used as sanctuaries, as shelter, but foreign fighters are not based in monasteries. Now I have been updating you about their growing infants in Gonjam medical zones. It seems that war is from deserts, from forests. This resistance of Amara handlers is coming to cities now. They would like to be a position to start herbal urban warfare because obviously if they keep on fighting in desert mountains, valleys, it would become above any chain. So at some point in future, in coming days, weeks, months, they'll try to control of cities down like they did they tried to take a toll of others in Aguam zone. They could not, they had to retreat. So I think if this resistance movement continues so on, later we'll see of urban cabinet is someone areas where foreign fighters are based. I think lastly, United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs in Ethiopia's mission was stopped by Eritrean and forces on the head of Ethiopia was leading the mission. Organizations and other organizations I and use these were parts of the mission to deliver as to some areas they started their travel from Shararo, 16 kilometers from Shararo. Another news from Sudan. The conflict is increasing day by day. Hospitals have been hit by airstrikes and artillery fire, while patients were still in the building and doctors have also been singled out for attack, all of which are potential war crimes. Only a handful of 88 hospitals in the capital, Khartoum, remains open after a week of fighting, according to the Sudan's doctor. The fighting in Sudan began on 15 April and was triggered by a power struggle between former allies, the leader of the regular army and the Parliamentary Rapid Support (RSF). Brit, who lived by embassy in Sudan, was left without help. What is going on in Sudan? A simple guide. Dr. Allah is a surgeon at the hospital and was present when the attack happened on 19 April. There wasn't any warning. Ibn Sina hospital where I worked was hit by the three bombs while a fourth bomb hit the nurse's house which was entirely set on fire, he said. Interior of damaged hospital image and image from inside Ibn Sina hospital show the damage there after an attack. Christian DeVos, an international criminal law expert with NGO Physician for Human Rights, says this could be classed as a war crime. The duty ought to warn of any implementing airstrike to ensure that all civilians are able to evacuate a hospital prior to an airstrike. That is why clear under the laws of war, he said. Looking at the images of the attack, forensic weapons expert Chris Cope-Smith said it could have been caused by artillery fire. Uncertainty over the think of weapon used being it is hard to be sure which side was responsible or whether this was a trigger attack. Soldiers seen inside a hospital image caption still taken from a video appears to show RSF fighters entering Khartoum, Al Saha Hospital, another medical facility. It was the East Nile Hospital, one of the last operating in that part of the capital. The BBC has been evidence of RSF fighters surrounding it with their vehicles and anti-aircraft weapons. There have been reports of patients being forcibly evacuated from the building, but we have also spoken to witnesses who say civilians continue to be treated alongside the RF soldiers. On 1 May, a public area next to the East Nile Hospital was hit by a Sudanese army airstrike. There was no warning according to the sources the BBC has spoken to. Five civilians died in the attack. There were a further airstrike 2 weeks later, but there has been no independent confirmation of the number of injured. The WHO has reported that 9 hospitals have been taken over fighters from one side of the other. The professional treatment of the soldiers over civilians not an appropriate use of medical facility and it will may constitute a violation of the law of the war, Mr. DeVos said. A political advisor to the RSF, Mustafa Muhammad Ibrahim, denied that they were preventing the treatment of civilians. He told that BBC, our forces are just spreading, they are not occupying and don't stop civilians from being treated in these hospitals. There is also evidence of another potential war crime, the targeting of doctors. The BBC has been social media messages threatening doctors by name, even sharing their ID number. The messages accuse them of supporting the RSF and receiving money from abroad. In a widely circulating video, Major General Tariq al-Hadi Kejab from the Sudanese army said the so-called Central Committee of Doctors should be named the Committee of Rebels. Sudanese doctor organizations have been monitoring threats which they say are coming from both sides, and BBC has spoken to doctors who have gone into hiding. We know that this is a tactic this is used in wars for pressure that is illegal in all international laws. Unfortunately, this is pushed medical staff into a propaganda war between the RSF and Sudanese army, said Dr. Muhammad Isa from the Sudanese American Physicians Association. Doctors around the world have been calling for a and to the targeting of their colleagues. At a conference in London last week, Sudan's doctor from Human Rights said medical staff had been killed, ambulances targeted, and hospitals forced to close their doors. Dr. Ahmed Abbas said, "We are gathering all the evidence of these transgressions, which are crimes against humanity and war crimes, and this could be presented to international judicial authorities or national authorities in Sudan." Viewers, this is all from my side. Thanks for watching.